Welcome to English Poetry with Tanya, where we break down poems simply, clearly, and meaningfully. Before we begin, just a small note, it's actually raining while I'm recording this, so you might hear a bit of rain in the background. Hopefully, that makes the experience a little more atmospheric. You might also hear a bit of traffic, and hopefully, that doesn't bother you. Today, we are going to study The Flea by John Donne. One of the most interesting and unusual poems in English literature. Before we go into the poem itself, we need to understand two very important concepts. The first one being metaphysical poetry. Metaphysical poetry is a type of poetry that is known for its intellectual depth, use of logic, and unusual comparisons. Instead of simply expressing emotions, poets like John Donne build arguments. Their poems often feel like debates where the speaker is trying to convince someone of something. The second concept being metaphysical conceit. Now, what is it? A conceit is an extended metaphor, but in metaphysical poetry, it is usually very surprising or unconventional. The poet compares two completely different things and then develops the comparison in a logical and detailed way. In this, the conceit is very unusual. The flea. Now let's begin the poem line by line. Mark but this flea, and mark in this. The poem begins with the speaker asking the women to look at this flea. The repetition of the word mark shows urgency. He wants her attention immediately. How little that which thou deniest me is. Here he introduces his main argument. He says that what she is refusing him, which is physical intimacy, is actually something very small or insignificant. It sucked me first and now sucks thee. The flea has bitten him first and now it has bitten her. And in this flea are two bloods mingled be. Inside the flea their blood has mixed. This is the central idea of the poem. Thou knowest that this cannot be said, a sin, nor shame, nor loss of maidenhead. He argues that this mixing of blood is not considered sinful, shameful, or loss of virginity. So he questions why their actual union should be seen as wrong. Yet this enjoys before it woo, and pampered swells with one blood made for two. The the flea, he says, is enjoying what he himself is not even allowed to do. The flea becomes swollen with their combined blood. This image is both physical and suggestive. And this, alas, is more than we would do. He concludes the first stanza by saying that the has already done more than what they have. Now, moving to the second stanza. Oh, stay, three lives in one flea spare. The woman is about to kill the flea, and he stops her. He exaggerates its importance. Where we almost, yea, more than married are. He claims that inside the flea, they are more than married. This is clearly an overstatement used for persuasion. This flea is you and I, and this our marriage bed, and marriage temple is. Here the conceit becomes more elaborate. The flea represents both of them, the marriage bed, and even a secret temple. Though parents grudge and you, we are met and cloistered in these living walls of jet. Even if society or parents disapprove, they are already united inside the flea. Living walls of jet, it refers to the dark body of the flea. Though use make you apt to kill me, let not do that self murder at it be. Here he warns her that killing the flea would be like killing him and herself as well. And the sacrilege, three sins in killing three. He calls it sacrilege, a religious crime, because it would destroy what he has described as sacred union. Now, the turning point of the poem. Cruel and sudden hast thou since purpled thy nail in blood of innocence. She kills the flea anyway. He describes the blood on her nail dramatically. Where could this flea, wherein could this flea guilty be, except in that drop which it sucked from thee? He asks what the crime, uh, what crime the flea committed, except taking a drop of her blood. Yet thou triumphest and sayest that thou findest not thyself nor me the weaker now. She argues that nothing has changed. Neither of them has lost anything. 'Tis true, then learn how false fears be. He agrees with her and turns her argument in his favor. Just so much honor, when thou yieldest to me, will waste as his fleet death took life from thee. This is his final argument. Just as the death of the flea caused no real harm, giving in to him will not result in any real loss of honor. Now let's step back and understand the poem as a whole. The poem is not a simple love poem. It is a persuasive argument. The speaker uses wit, logic, and an extended metaphor to convince the woman. The flea becomes a symbol of physical union. The poem follows a clear argumentative structure. First, he presents his idea, then, he develops it. Finally, he adapts and strengthens his argument after the flea is killed. The tone is playful, it's clever, and slightly manipulative. For exams, remember metaphysical conceit, the flea as symbol of union. There's argumentative structure, use of wit and logic instead of emotion, religious imagery and exaggeration. And this is what makes John Donne unique. He turns something small and ordinary into something intellectually complex and persuasive. If this helped you understand the poem better, subscribe for more clear and detailed poetry explanations. Thank you.